So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the UPLB MNH 46th Anniversary Webinar Series. I'm your host, John Dexter, Senior Museum Specialist of UPLB Museum of Natural History, and with me is our moderator, Professor Annalie Hadsal. This morning, we will talk about research and collection, particularly on novel species and discoveries. To start with, we have an opening message to be delivered by the UPLB Museum of Natural History Director, Dr. Marian P. De Leon.
Good morning to our administrators, faculty, researchers, staff, students, colleagues from UPLB, collaborators and partners from the academe, industry, and government, distinguished guests and speakers. It is with great pride and honor to welcome each and everyone on the occasion of UPLB Museum of Natural History's 46th founding anniversary celebration. Even in a virtual environment, UPLB MNH is very much grateful to have all of you with us to partake in its anniversary celebration through a two-day webinar series. This year, the theme of MNH's 46th year revolves around continuing excellence through adversity, creating partnerships, fruitful research, and digitized collections. It is without any doubt and true to its mission and vision that amidst different forms of adversities that confront us, MNH Today is still standing on solid ground as university's repository of the country's flora and fauna that embodies competence and excellence in its academic, research, and extension engagements with collaborators and partners. Through the past 2 years, the museum had to adapt to a completely different setup constrained on mobility and physical gatherings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. During the lockdown period, the museum office was closed. But this did not stop the men and women of MNH to perform its duties and responsibilities. While everyone is in a work-from-home arrangement, inside its walls, our curators, researchers, and museum personnel are hard at work, creating partnerships, fruitful research, and digitizing collections. Our ongoing 3-year Nicer Caves program under the support of the Department of Science and Technology is a concrete example of MNH fulfillment to its research, thrust, and agenda even during the pandemic. As we are now engaged back to in-person work mode, MNH continues to forge partnerships with various stakeholders within and outside the university. This year, we have accepted numerous intern students who got to experience museum work, doing laboratory work extracting DNA, handling important museum specimen, getting up close with different forms of wildlife, and learning techniques to manage them are some unique experiences the MNH internship has offered. It also fostered collaboration with our fellow HEIs like the Mariano Marcos State University, Manila Central University, and Polytechnic University of the Philippines. More SUCs like the Cavite State University, University of Rizal System, Batangas State University, Laguna State Polytechnic University, and the Southern Luzon State University are joining us in one of our webinars today. As an overview of the webinar series, the first webinar for this morning is capped on research and collections with our distinguished speakers, experts in their fields who will walk us through with new species discoveries and important museum collections. With birds being the most recognizable component of museum collections, Dr. Juan Carlos T. Gonzalez, MNH's very own curator for birds, will present to us an overview of the history and distribution of bird holotypes and bird collections in the Philippines. Another interesting presentation to look forward to on new species discoveries is the Baletemis campalili, a new genus of long-nosed mouse, which was recently discovered in the forest of Mount Campalili in the province of Davao Oriental. And we are very much honored today to have with us one of the authors, Dr. Dakota Rousey. The UPLB MNH is also proud to present this year a new species of geometrid moth from the island of Sibuyan of Romblon, the Pomacia concepcioni, a moth named after Attorney Danilo L. Concepcion, the current president of the University of the Philippines and a great and staunch supporter of biodiversity research in Sibuyan. Highlights of this discovery will be presented by the museum's very own curator for geometrid moths and spiders, Dr. Emmeline B. Dupo, who co-authored the paper with French Lepidopteran systematist Claude Totel. Following more interesting presentation on new species of weevils, one of the less studied group of insects in Mindanao, being one of the less explored regions in the Philippines, which has remote mountain and forest ecosystems that are still underexplored, especially for entomological research. This will be given by another curator of the MNH, Dr. Cheryl Yap. To cap this morning's presentation, the Philippine Taxonomic Initiative Incorporated, our partner in conservation efforts, focused on advancing the discovery and description of plants and animals in the Philippines, will discuss on new plant novelties discovered by the PTII, which will be delivered by Mr. John Charles Altamonte, the Director for Externals of the PTII. This is yet the morning's webinar that unveils and offers wealth of knowledge and information on research and collections. Expect more enriching presentations and discussions lined up for you this afternoon from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The second webinar on research and partnership on CAVES program. It will cover all about caves and cave ecosystems research from the NYSERC CAVES program, researchers and project staff, classified and unclassified caves in Calabarzon region from the Department of Natural Resources Calabarzon Office, and on cave tourism from the LGU of Cavinti, Laguna will be one of the highlights. MNH is also fortunate on its anniversary celebration to be joined this afternoon by the newly appointed Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Renato U. Solidum Jr., and the OIC Undersecretary for Research and Development, as well as the Assistant Secretary for International Cooperation, ASEC Leia Buendia. Thank you very much for the continued support that you and your successors have extended to the NYSERC CAVES program. The anniversary celebration continues on the second day, September 30, which is the actual date of the founding of the MNH. The third webinar series on research and collections management will tackle the museum's initiatives on digitization and collection management with our very own, our MC for today, Senior Museum Specialist Mr. John Dexter Lumibao, who will give a talk on inventory and maintenance of museum collections. On digitization efforts, project leaders Professor Philip Alviola, MNH Curator for Small Mammals, and Forester Michelle San Pascual, MNH University researcher, will present on digitization, georeferencing, and mobilization of Philippine Chiroptera and associated ectoparasites and pathogens from the UPLB MNH and UPLB MNH Botanical Herbarium Database, respectively. While our DOST Career Incentive Program Fellows, Ms. Frances Tenorio and Mr. Nathaniel Alcantara, will be presenting their DOST SEI journey as they continue their being fellows in the museum. Happening also on the second day of the anniversary celebration, MNH will boast in pride the new face or look of the UPLB MNH website to be presented by our Extension Coordinator, Mr. Florante Cruz. Through the 46 years of existence and achievement, MNH as a research and extension unit of the university, in full support to academic instruction, continues to value the men and women who have been instrumental and integral to what MNH is now. We reciprocate what has been generously shared to us by giving you in return spectra of services through collaborative engagements and partnerships and information dissemination on repositories of the country's flora and fauna through academic, research, and extension undertakings. The webinar series and lectures comprehensively planned in store for everyone, and your full support in joining us here in Zoom and in YouTube continue to inspire us to be at our best to serve the UPLB in particular and the country at large as we mark another milestone for our museum. On behalf of UPLB MNH, allow me to express our sincerest gratitude to each and everyone in joining us as we celebrate the 46th founding anniversary of MNH. Thank you to all the collaborators and partner organizations and institutions who have tirelessly been working with us in our advocacies on biodiversity conservation. Maraming salamat at sama-sama po tayong magtulungan sa ating pakikibaka upang mapaunlad natin ang ating kapaligiran at mapalaganap natin ang kahalagahan ng edukasyon, pananaliksik at serbisyo sa pagpalawig ng ating komunidad. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.